Well, happy Friday, my fellow Y members. Doug Walker behind the camera. In a moment, Jacqueline White, our Health and Wellness Director, in front of the camera. And consider this an encore edition of our fitness equipment demonstration because we've had some inquiries about the new bench press seats that have come into the Y. As promised, Jacqueline White now joins us. So take us through this new bench press seat, what it does and how to use it.
Yeah, so this is a little different than what we've had before. So prior to this bench press machine, so this is a three-way bench press. So prior to this, we had a strict decline, a strict incline, a strict flat. So you've got three pieces of equipment that we have now whittled down to, it takes up the space of one footprint. So we've had some questions, I guess, on foot placement regarding, this machine. It's a little different, so it's just about kind of getting used to it. So there's a few different options. There's really about 3 different options for this. So if you're coming into the bench press, you want to make sure that when you are laying down, that your chest is going to be right over that bar. So I'm going to creep in front of you, Doug. You can adjust all of this. So I'm just going to stick with flat, so I don't need to mess with this adjustment at all. So I'm just going to adjust this entire piece that slides. So there's an arrow here showing where that adjustment can be. I'm going to bring it back, let's say around 12 or 13 or so, okay? So this whole piece slides so that when you lay down, that chest is right over top of that bar. So there's a few different ways that you can do this. Now typically on a flat bench press, typically you can have your feet flat on the ground. Now I'm 5'1", so I'm a little short. But typically you can have your feet all the way down. Now the only problem with that is that back tends to arch. So you see this big arch in my back here. So when the feet go on the floor, that back arches, and you really don't want that. So I think that's why they're making these machines nowadays, so that they're lifted up a little bit, because you really want that belly button to be down into the bench. So that's why they've kind of built these foot pedals down here. So I slid down just a hair, and I feel more stable. I can get my back flat on the bench, and I'm stronger here. And then you can just adjust that bar accordingly. So you can either have your feet on the pedals, or you can bring your feet up here. And again, that keeps the back flat. You've got more surface area on the bench by having your feet either on the pegs or up here. And you're gonna end up being stronger because you're more solidified here on the bench. If you do bring the feet down, now I'm short, so we've got plates here that you can use to kind of keep your feet flat on the ground. So that's still an option, but immediately I feel weaker because I've got that arch in my back. So this is where I kind of recommend adjusting where that seat is and either using those pegs here or bringing the feet up to here, just so that you've got that real estate on your back. You're going to be stronger, so you're going to actually let the chest do the work, and then not so much worrying about that arch that's in the back.
So people who have back issues, probably the best practice is the way to put your feet up on the pedals,
right, that's why
or
they
up
put
on
the
the
pegs.
seat.
That's why they put the pegs there. So the pegs are there to really, this machine is built to keep that back flat. You'll see some people when they're lifting really heavy, they really arch that back and just their shoulders are touching the pad. You're not strong when your back is like hyperextended. So you want to make sure that that back is flat on the bench, and that way you're really using your core and your chest to do the work, not so much using the arch of your back to push that bar up.
All right, so we've talked about positioning now and the advantages, disadvantages of those positions, but what actually does the bench press do? What does it help you as far as getting stronger, and what muscles does it work?
This is really one of those foundational pieces. It's really good for everybody. So, a lot of your everyday lifters should be doing this machine. It's going to hit the chest muscles, but why are the chest muscles important? So anytime we have to take our body away from us, it's going to incorporate those chest muscles. So really it's going to help if you need to get yourself up. If you fall and you need to be able to push yourself up, those muscles are going to be utilized here. If you don't want to do it on a bench press, this is where our selectorized equipment comes in. So you can be seated and do that same movement, that same motion, and get the same benefit.
All right, Jacqueline White, our Health and Wellness Director, thanks for joining us on this encore edition of a fitness equipment demonstration. New equipment has come into the Y over the last several months, and one of the pieces you're looking at is the bench press and the bench press seat. And as more equipment comes into the Y in the coming months, we will be back with more fitness equipment demonstrations. But until then, we thank you for joining us, and we thank you for watching.